to get to this.
Maureen, you're not on mute.
Oh, sorry.
No problem. Just wanted you to be aware.
Anthony, should we give it 1 or 2 more minutes?
Yes, at a minimum.
Okay.
I feel like we don't quite have a critical mass yet, so
Okay.
we need to give it a few more minutes. But you know, maybe people will roll in the next minute or two.
Sounds good. There's one phone number. I can't tell who that is. It's a 1-3, an area code starting with a 3. Does anyone know who that is?
I think it's me, Jordana. I'm trying to get, I'm working off my phone right now. I'm trying to get to a place where I can actually work off my computer. So I'm sorry, I'm just a number right now.
No worries. It's great to have you.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hi, Reggie.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, Peter. Welcome.
Hi, everyone.
Liz, I think we could get started in a minute. Seems like more folks have joined, so let's give it 1 more minute for folks, and then we can get started.
Okay, sounds great. Do we have Imam Tahir on the line? Okay. Okay, Anthony, I think I'll go ahead and get started. It's 4:05. Does that sound okay?
Yep.
Okay, terrific. Well, welcome to the last New York City Youth Board and Workforce Development Board Committee meeting of the year. We're thrilled to have all of you here. I wanted to, first order of business and calling the meeting to order, is I wanted to introduce our new member, our newest member, Imam Tahir. And is he on the line, Imam? Okay. So I was going to have him introduce himself, and I might just I'll give him some time to see if he gets on the line, but he joins us from Staten Island. We had a great call, Anthony, myself, Andre, and some other members just to meet him. And we really think that he'll bring a lot to the table as a new board member. So when he does join, I will have him say a quick hello. Commissioner Chung, I believe you nominated Imam, correct?
Actually, I think it was the mayor's appointment.
The mayor's office.
Yeah, it was the Imam Tahir came to us via the mayor's office of appointments.
Got it. Okay, great. Well, I think you'll all enjoy him once you hear from him. So uh, we'll turn the meeting over to him to introduce himself when he signs on. But in addition, we also have some special guests from the Interagency Coordinating Council on Youth interns. And I don't know if all four of them are here. I see Tim is here, Tim Manning, Tom Lawless, Maria Curvan, and Haeyoung Wong. Those are the four interns from Fordham University. And we have a special thank you to Nancy Waxstein because she's serving as the field advisor for this program. You will be hearing from them shortly. They'll be speaking to you, so I won't have them introduce themselves to you now, but just a welcome to them for joining. So I want to move to the next order of business, which is approval of the September 2021 meeting minutes. If I can have a motion to approve.
Peter, I think you're on mute if you're talking.
I am on mute. There you go. You saw me talking with my hands, but I'm so moved.
Thank you, Peter. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thanks so much, Reggie. Thank you. Great. So moving on to announcements, and I want to start with the Interagency Coordinating Council on Youth, the ICC public hearing. And before I turn it over to the team to talk about it, just a little bit of background. The Interagency Coordinating Council on Youth is a New York City charter mandated entity that was created in 1989 to promote interagency collaboration on issues related to young people and to support youth and families by utilizing the City of New York's multitude of government resources. And this is amazing. It blew me away when I read this, that the ICC membership is comprised of representatives of each of the city's 20 youth serving agencies. So it really does cut across many of our organizations that the city has to serve youth and families. So I would love to ask Tim if he could provide an overview of the ICC public hearing. And Tim, if you could just take a step back and let us know what is the ICC public hearing, how often is it held, and then just update us on the most recent one, we would appreciate it.
Hi, thank you. So I have like a little blurb, excuse me, I'll read, and hopefully it addresses all of that. So the public hearing is tomorrow, Wednesday, December 8th from 3 to 5 p.m. And we just wanted to give you all a quick last minute heads up on the event. So you could, and I'll put the information in the chat after I finish talking. So you could spread the word to colleagues or anybody that you think might be interested. So if you haven't attended in the past, this hearing is a great way for the public and youth in particular to be civically engaged and provide testimony based on their needs and perspectives directly to city government officials. That said, all of our primary ICC members will be in attendance. So 20 or so government agencies who all have their respective liaison. And we have also extended invitations out to different community-based organizations and activist groups who have engaged youth to provide testimony as well. And we're super excited about the event. It happens once a year. It's mandated by the city charter. And we're hoping to have a good turnout of youth coming to testify. We have a good amount that signed up already. And we have commitment from all 20 agencies that they'll have a representative there. So we're looking forward to it, and hopefully you could join us. And if you feel so called, you can testify. So thank you.
And Tim, what is your role specifically in this?
So I actually work with the court-involved youth work group, which is one of the subgroups of the ICC, and then the other interns work. There's also the supporting LGBTQ work group, and Maria, who is another intern, she works there with them, and then Tom works with the primary membership. And we also have Ho Yang, who I believe is on this call, who works with us, but then also with Paula Calby, and works on some publications. And so we, try to plan the meetings, make them as engaging as possible, and build community between the city agencies and our partner organizations. And we also have a meeting coming up in January that I could also that we'll promote tomorrow at the meeting as well. And if you'd like to join the email list or anything like that, please just message me on here or email me at my DYCD email.
Great, thank you so much, Tim. And any of the other interns, any thing that you want to share?
I'm not sure. I know some of them have class. I don't know if anybody's here.
Hi, Tim.
Oh, Nancy. Hi,
We have
Nancy.
Nancy. Nancy, welcome.
Yeah, I had a terrible time getting in to the meeting. But I finally did.
Terrific, and we're happy to have you. We know that you just in my notes that you oversee you're the field advisor to the interns, to the social.
Yeah. I'm supervising 3 of the Fordham MSW students who are placed at DYCD, and they're a great group of students, and looking to help further the mission.
Thank you. Excellent.
So Nancy, I just wanted to offer our thanks to you again for working with us again to have some interns at Fordham placed here, and then for your role this year in stepping up and directly supervising them. I understand that you and Eduardo have been working more closely together, so definitely appreciate your help in making this partnership a fruitful one.
Yeah, well, so much for retirement, Anthony.
You said that. I didn't say that.
No, but
Don't say that.
these particular students make it worthwhile. They're really terrific. So gives me hope for the next generation.
I see the commissioner smiling there about retirement.
I have my plan worked out already. I'm just waiting when to file my pension papers.
Perfect.
I know, Bill. Well, it's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting to what's it called? Downshift. But I'm still on a few nonprofit boards, and that takes time, as you well know. So wait for that to happen, Bill. You're going to be in high demand.
I've limited it. I've already made worked out arrangements. So I have 3. That's it.
Yeah. So yeah. All right.
Well, thanks, Nancy, and thank you for your commitment to the interns in the program. Any other announcements for the announcement section from anyone on the broader team? Okay. Well, we will move on now to the Programs Committee report. The Programs Committee will be reporting on Advance and Earn. In September, we had a Programs Committee meeting where we had a presentation on the Advance and Earn program. Last week, Andre actually sent out the meeting video. I hope some of you had a chance to take a look at it. But today we have Shonda Murphy, the director of the Advance and Earn program, to answer any questions you have about the program. But before I turn it over to Shonda, I would love to first ask Harini, Maureen, or Reggie if any of you want to. By the way, if you aren't speaking, if you could mute, that would be wonderful. Thank you so much. I know it's hard with this Zoom culture. But if I could ask Harini, Maureen, or Reggie just to offer a report back on the meeting, any one of you, if you could.
Sorry about that. I had to clear some little ones out of the room first. So it's great. So for me, one of the highlights was there was a video that they played which sort of highlighted some of the participants in the program, or a participant in the program that I thought was very effective in demonstrating the reach and the scope of this program and what it offered to participants in terms of the supports that it offered to them throughout the course of their involvement, which I thought was pretty much amazing and pretty extensive. And then some of the conversations that they offered about wraparound services, particularly in the realm of social work, that was offered to participants, I thought was pretty cool and pretty amazing. As far as supports go for participants, I thought that was pretty cool.
Thanks, Reggie. Any other, before I turn over to Shonda, any other feedback from the committee?
Well,
I think there's, sorry, go on.
Was that you, Maureen?
well, I guess I just wanted to say from the presentation that I saw, I'm really looking forward to finding a way to build a good bridge between Access VR and DYCD, and especially with the vendors that are providing the Advance and Earn programs. There's so much to offer, and also the full range of services is really a wonderful idea.
Thanks, Maureen. And Shonda, if I might, I know you're here to answer questions, but for those that didn't get a chance to listen to the video, would you mind giving just us a little bit of background on the program?
Sure, certainly. Good afternoon. To those of you who I saw briefly or met briefly the last meeting, welcome back. Again, my name is Shonda Murphy. I'm the Director of Advance and Earn here at DYCD. And Advance and Earn is one of DYCD's newest workforce initiatives that began in February of 2020, that many of us all remember was right on the cusp of the pandemic. And so we envisioned that the program would look a certain way and sit a certain way and be presented a certain way. And as you can imagine, it looked very different at its beginnings. Our providers quickly had to pivot and to learn online platforms for instruction, et cetera. And so our program, the goal of Advance and Earn is to work with young adults ages 16 to 24 who are both out of school and out of work, and to put them on a career pathway trajectory. The goal is for young adults who are at any academic level to come to the program. They are tested into the program, and depending on where they sit academically or where they land academically, they are given academic supports. They are given internship opportunities and work readiness training. They are offered credentials and also advanced training opportunities that ultimately our goal is that they would end up in job placements. There are multiple social supports, as was mentioned earlier. There's a full-time licensed social worker at each of our provider programs. There's a whole case management team that works with the young people daily. And so these are well-resourced programs that we know when a young person has a caring adult that can walk with them through this process, from kind of difficulty, or those who have walked away from school for multiple reasons, who can walk with them through this academic process into job placement and job security, they fare better. And our goal was to develop teams of staff at all of these programs that can support our young people through the process. And so in a nutshell, that is what Advance and Earn is. And our goal is to ensure that our young people can be placed on a advanced training and job placement track. And the video also that was mentioned was one of our highlight young adults from this past cohort, Mr. Kiss John, who was in foster care until he was 16, ended up in a shelter, but found out about Advance and Earn from one of his mentors, who, even though he mentions in the video, he initially said that he wasn't so interested in the program, but was pushed and pushed and pushed by his mentor, who got him to finally apply for the program, and he's done wonderfully. In addition to his resilience, we have a really, really quality partner in Field Trip, who is the advanced training partner that he was paired with. And Field Trip is a culinary program and has worked with him extensively. And he's been hired ultimately by Field Trip, and of course now wants to open his own restaurant, but he has fared really well throughout the program. I see Denise's question in the chat. Thank you for asking that. Actually, the program works by cohort, and so each cohort is 20 weeks, but the participants are not limited to a 20-week experience with us. If after the 20 weeks they have not reached either preparation for their HSC or job placement, they can, we call them rollovers, they can return to the program for an additional cohort as needed.
Excellent. Any other? Oh, we've got Harini question, please.
Not a question. I just wanted to provide some comments. I did speak with Chandra and Julia soon after the meeting, and we were able to connect the DYCD team to DOE's Students in Temporary Housing team led by Executive Director Mike Hickey. I also want to share that these are exciting and anxious times for the DOE. We're waiting for the announcement of the new chancellor any day now, maybe tomorrow. But as that is happening, the Office of Post-Secondary Readiness, where I'm situated at, we're pulling together multiple transition memos, one of which is a really bold, ambitious, I would argue, career readiness recommendations for the new administration. And one of the highlights that we want to really call out in these recommendations are programming for all students who graduate out of the DOE into year 13. And so I don't think this has been done before, but the proposal is to have either a college advanced credentialing, apprenticeship opportunity for all students who graduate out of year 13, and some type of hand-holding and on and off ramps through year 13. Saying all this to say that in the menu of programs we've highlighted for year 13, we've called out Advance and Earn. So hopefully we'll see where we go with these recommendations. With all of us in the Office of Post-Secondary Readiness really appreciated the program. I did reach out to Deputy Commissioner Valerie Mulligan with our recommendation. So we have a call scheduled with Valerie, hopefully next week, I think. More to come.
Thank you, Harini. Thank you for that update. I see Jackie has her hand raised. Jackie, please go ahead.
One thing that struck me so much about watching the video as well as listening to the discussion from the recorded meeting is the importance of mentorship and having adults pay attention to the young person who we're trying to advance. So I was wondering, do we have in place some training? Because it doesn't come naturally for everyone, and certainly not partnering organizations. So is there any training kind of as part of your programming right now?
We have extensive training for, as a matter of fact, the entire social support team, which includes the licensed social worker and the case management team. We have created what we call a social work circle, because if you even can imagine, our social work, the entire social support team were hired pre-pandemic. And so they entered an environment with our young people that they could not have imagined. And so there were behavioral challenges, there were connectivity challenges, there were engagement challenges. And so the team really had to kind of step up to the plate in a way that they had not expected. And so we've developed what we call a social work circle. And every month we gather with our social supports team, one, one, to ensure that they have engaged in their own self-care practices, because without doing that, they aren't able to give anything to our young people, but also to enhance our support of them as they do the work every day for our young people. And so they come to the session, we do self-care practices. They also kind of vent and talk about what's happening with the young people. And each program staff person is able to hear best practices from all the others. And so it's really, really helpful. They enjoy that time together. But in addition to that, we have Vibrant, which is one of our major TA partners, who trains all of the staff members as well as the social support team in trauma-informed practices and case management, and really how to talk to and connect to the young people. And so our case managers, who are doing paperwork, but they are really one of the most critical staff people that our young people encounter in the program, one of the first staff people that our young people encounter, where they're sharing a lot. There's more about the conversation and the engagement and the attachment to the young person and the young person to that first caring adult than it is about the paperwork. And so our TA providers have really, really been instrumental in helping us kind of level up our staff competencies throughout the pandemic and beyond. And so there's an extensive amount of investment made in TA for all of these programs, especially our social support teams.
Great, thank you. I was also very curious, I mean, in terms of support for because the relationship between the manager at the restaurant, the culinary program and the young person was so important. And I was just wondering if there was training for, the manager on the other end.
So this is part and parcel of what we are going to begin in our coming cohort. So they are our kind of highlight provider, field trip. They are a lot of our partners don't approach this in a mentorship capacity, which is really what we need and want them all to do. They care about the young people. They want to provide internship opportunities for the young people, but it really is this mentoring attitude and thought process that really helps our young people succeed. And so, yes, we really do want to speak more and work more with our employer partners, specifically via Advance and Earn in our coming cohorts, specifically around this too. Around their engagement.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I think it's a really important component, is that understanding on the other end.
It's absolutely critical. And we see the success that can come from an employer partner who is really about developing real partnership and relationship with the young people. We know that's what they need.
Right, thank you.
Thank you so much, Shonda. And I see that someone else has joined the meeting.
Hi, it's Chris. I'm sorry.
Hey, Chris.
My prior call ran long.
Welcome. It's great to have you.
Thanks.
Any other questions for Shonda? Okay, excellent. Well, thank you very much for that. And we, look forward to the program continuing. It sounds like it's had a good start, especially starting in a very difficult time for the city. So congratulations on that, and look forward to hearing more. And those of you who haven't had a chance to watch the video, I definitely encourage you to do that. So now we are moving to a very exciting part in the program, which is DYCD celebrating 25 years of service. And I'm actually going to turn it over to Anthony. You can see he has his logo in the window there, the very cool 25-year logo. Anthony, I know we have a video, but I don't know if you have anything that you want to say before we roll the video.
Well, I mean, not much, and I think the video will speak for itself. And I know the commissioner has mentioned this earlier as well, that this is DYCD's 25th anniversary when the agency was formed. And I think the purpose of this video was really just to kind of celebrate and acknowledge all the work that's happened over the past 25 years, but also, even in particular over the past 8 years, under this administration, under the leadership of our Commissioner Bill Chong. So what we're going to be showing is an abridged version of the video. The full video is about 25 minutes, which we could make available to all of you afterwards. However, for the purposes of this meeting, we thought we would show a more condensed version. It's about 7 to 8 minutes. So without further ado, I will give Sarah a little time to, I know Sarah's going to be sharing her screen to show the video. So I will give her some time here to kind of cue that. And, you know, we are excited to show this to all of you. And, you know, afterwards we can, you know, discuss and celebrate together about the 25th anniversary.
So this is Anthony. In case we get bored with what Netflix has to offer, we can watch the full version.
Whether you get bored by Netflix or not, you know, you can watch this. Yes.
Hang on. So did you hear the music when it was just playing, or you just saw the video?
No music.
Okay, so give me one moment to make sure that it's going to pick up the sound.
In 1996, the Department of Youth Services and the Community Development Agency formed the Department of Youth and Community Development, DYCD.
I think over the last quarter of a century, DYCD's impact has been to create opportunities for young people and families and communities to succeed, whether it's summer jobs, housing for homeless youth, opportunities for young fathers to play a role in their families, or helping people teach English or get their GED. We've created a pathway for families and communities out of poverty.
Community Development Agency, it was CDA. So I think it allowed DYCD to serve the whole family. Because on one end you had just youth services, which is after school, which is, you know, a menu of services for young people. But young people don't live alone, right? Young people have moms, dads, grandmas, grandpas. And so community development is services for everyone. Community development also had services for young people as well. So I think it was the perfect marriage to serve the whole family.
SYP stands for the Summer Youth Employment Program. It is a program that's available in many cities. New York City's probably had one of the longest running programs. It's been around since the 60s. And it's what I like to call like a rite of passage for many young New Yorkers. I am proud of what it does and in serving our young people and providing them that first opportunity to work where it might have been difficult for them to get their own jobs, get somebody to take a chance on a 14, 15, or 16-year-old. It provides income for them, so they're spending money for young people who work during the summer. And I've heard definitely a lot of stories of young people using some of their hard-earned money to help their families or save for college. I think that if the city could bestow a gift for every young person, it would be a quality education and a chance at a first job.
The significance about Cornerstone Community Centers, one paying homage to the Beacon program model, which Cornerstone is birthed out of, is the fact that community centers are a joint project with NYCHA, and that it's one of the only unique programs in the city that serve the families right where they live. There is no other program like Cornerstone Community Centers where a family can come right downstairs from their home and go right into the center and receive all of the resources and services that they need, with the program designed with them in mind, giving out high quality output all the time.
Fundamentally, what Schools NYC did was fulfill a key promise that every middle school student in New York City would have access to a free, high-quality after-school program. That's a game changer for kids, obviously, because having a safe place to go to school after school, a place where you can explore your passions in art or music or dance or sports, where you can get help with homework, where you can build strong mentoring relationships, all in a safe, responsible place, of course, is a game changer for students. But it's also a game changer for families, because it means that as a parent, you know that your child is somewhere having a productive and positive experience. So that means that you can go to work, take care of other responsibilities in the comfort of knowing that your child is safe.
Our city's crisis shelters and transitional programs are perhaps the most vital services we can offer young people. It is incredibly stabilizing for a young person to have a safe place to sleep, to have a meal, to have support services, and to go on about the work of rebuilding their lives. The programs that is made possible through DYCD and the city are incredibly vital to the young people in our care. We know statistically that young people who lack affirming environments, who lack safety, who lack shelter, suffer from a host of co-occurring issues like anxiety, depression, and sadly suicidal ideation. So having these supports is truly life-saving. And in many ways, at least for the young people in our care, is affirming for them that they are worthy of being cared for, they are worthy of love, and that the city cares about them.
What people don't understand about the whole Beacons movement is it started a movement around using schools that has blossomed into a national movement now. You have communities in schools, you have this whole movement to have full service community schools. Well, guess where all of that started? It started right here at DYCD, where we created 10 Beacon schools, one of which was in Harlem, that led to the movement to make schools the central place of rebuilding neighborhoods.
The purpose of developing the strategic plan was shortly after Mayor de Blasio's re-election to a second term, the commissioner and executive team wanted to develop a strategic plan to ensure DYC's impact throughout New York City, and to look at areas of the agency that could be strengthened to ensure that our impact remains strong and that we continue to fulfill our mission and vision for the agency.
The food pantry program was established and implemented during the pandemic. At a moment's notice, we knew right away that this was going to be essential services for a lot of people who are getting laid off their jobs or seeking assistance. So we established a network across the entire city, not only through DYCD, but also working with the Department of Sanitation, HRA, and our internal providers here at DYCD with the other program units, and mobilize the whole entire portfolio in order to address the need that was forthcoming during the pandemic.
DYCD has positively impacted the community for over 25 years. The agency's budget is now over $1 billion, resulting in more programs, services, and resources for youth, families, and communities across NYC.
Opportunity.
Lifeline.
Community.
Power. Prosperity.
Village.
A resource.
Adaptable.
Equity. Hope.
Future.
Partnership.
Growth.
Happiness.
Empowering.
Strength.
Connection.
Empowerment.
Innovation.
Youth voice.
The answer.
Sarah, thank you so much for sharing that and making it work technologically. I know that's always a little stressful, so thank you. And that was an amazing video. I think everyone probably, had their favorite program, a shout out. There were just so many that were highlighted, but it was just great. And Andre gave you the link for the full 25-minute version if you'd like to listen to it later. So thank you so much for that highlight. As Anthony said, there will be a time very shortly to celebrate both the 25-year and Commissioner Chong as well. But I wanted to turn it over to Commissioner Chong to give his remarks, and then we'll have more of a broader discussion. So Commissioner Chong, please go ahead.
Well, thank you. One of the interesting things about the history of this agency, which was created by Rudy Giuliani, was that I like to call it was an accidental birth. If you read the news story about why they merged the Department of Youth Services and the Community Development Agency, it was to save money. The two agencies were similar. They were contracting agencies, and the idea was to save by streamlining the back office operations. So there was no grand scheme about putting all these programs that served mostly low-income communities of color under one roof. It was a budget exercise. And the same was also true when the Department of Employment was merged into the youth programs from the Department of Employment was merged into DYCD in 2004. So I think the challenge we faced, especially when I became commissioner, was that we had 40 different programs, 3 different agencies that had coexisted for 17, 18 years, but operated independently in pretty much the same neighborhoods around the city. In fact, if you look at where our money is invested, it's in mostly in the neighborhoods where Eric Adams won significantly. It's, Central Brooklyn, Southeast Queens, South Bronx, parts of Northern Manhattan, North Shore of Staten Island, parts of Lower Manhattan. And so it's interesting that of all the borough presidents, Eric Adams is the only one who actually met with me, asked for a meeting in 2015. At the time, and Anthony should chime in, I didn't think anything of it. It was a meet and greet. What was unusual now that I have 6 years of, looking back at this, he came alone, which is very unusual for an elected official to come to any meeting alone. I had staff. I had Anthony and had Stacy Lynch sitting in on the meeting with me because, in case there was follow-up. The other interesting thing about the meeting was he didn't ask for anything. Every elected official I have ever met with has asked for something. Can you fund this? Can you help this group? Can you help this neighborhood? It was Anthony chimed in because my memory isn't as good as it used to be, but it was a pretty high level conversation about what DYCD is, what my vision of DYCD was. And I'm pretty sure I talked to him about this settlement house strategy, that one of the things that was frustrating for DYCD as an agency and as a city is that we make it difficult for people to connect to services. And we know people's lives are complicated. And the easier we can make it so when you go through one door, another door opens to other services. And so we hadn't figured out the Discover DYCD app. That happened 2 years later. But the concept and the vision of if you connect people to multiple services, you can really help them out of poverty. There's no magic bullet. There's no one program that does that. And so I thought it's interesting that one of the big ideas that Eric Adams has announced was that he wants to create a portal where New Yorkers can apply for multiple city services. So I like to think that my conversation with him was part of what he has termed going to mayor's school, that he would spend time talking to different people in preparation for that day when he became mayor. And so I'm hoping that that conversation underscored with him how important this agency is. So when they pick a successor, it's somebody who will build on what we've done over the last 8 years, that this is a very different agency than it was in 2014, and that beyond just the budget, but simply the culture of the organization, our view of how do we work collaboratively to help people move them out of poverty. And even just simple things like changing our mission. And that's one of the reasons I did the exit interview with City and State. I had heard from Deputy Mayor Thompson that people don't understand DYCD. And part of it is we haven't done a good job of talking about the changes we made internally, because it's not news copy. It's not the kind of thing that people write about. And, and people see us as one of two things: as an ATM, just go to us to get money, or as this collection of 40 different programs with no clear coherency. So, as people in the funding world will say, we didn't have an elevator pitch. What do you describe your organization in that elevator ride? So that's why I wanted to make clear our mission is to fight the effects of poverty, and it all ties together. And so it's not just an after-school agency. It's not just summer jobs. It's not just homeless youth. It's all that in a way to have an impact on communities and families so that they can have a better life for themselves. So hopefully, in the transition memo we sent them and the transition memo I prepared for my successor, they will get it. So that's sort of how the history links to where we are and hopefully what the next 25 years will be like for this agency.
I don't have much more to add, Bill, than what you said about the meeting with Mayor Adams. I think that's just right. He came in that meeting very kind of unassuming. It was just him, and I think he really just wanted a chance to connect with you and just to learn about the agency. And you know, the proof is in the pudding, right? In terms of what he's thinking about now and what he wants to prioritize moving forward. You know, that's why we have these meetings and we let people know what we're doing, because you never know how that may spark people's ideas on things. The other thing I will say is just to point out to everyone again that, you know, in the materials we sent in advance in the media packet, we have the copy of the commissioner's op-ed that appeared in Gotham Gazette recently about DYCD, and also the interview with City and State. So if you all have not had a chance to read it, you should. But I also know that we had sent it out because we send to all of you every week the commissioner's message. But definitely take the chance to read that if you haven't, and definitely feel free to forward it to your networks, because you know, we want to be able to tell the story of DYCD and its impact and its accomplishments. And I think working with all of you as the youth board, youth committee members, that is a definitely key role for all of you to help us in that endeavor.
Thanks, Anthony. Yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry, just one last thing. I also just want to acknowledge Jessie Markland. She's our Senior Director of the Office of Strategic Communications and Stakeholder Engagement. If you all recall, she was on the meeting in September talking about the New York City Youth Agenda. We really have to give kudos to her and her team for producing the video. So I think, you know, to the enjoyment of the video and what you've seen is really the fruits of her work and all her care and attention to put that together. So wanted to also acknowledge Jessie as well.
Thanks, Anthony. And Commissioner, we want to appreciate you. This is also a time for us to thank you and recognize you. But before I turn it over to us to do that, any other, you know, in terms of your report that you gave, anything else that you want to say on the report, or did you kind of cover everything?
No, I just want to thank everyone for your support over the last 8 years. It's been a great opportunity to build this organization, to take it to the next 25 years, and I hope that you will continue to play the same role with the next commissioner, and that you will, you know, keep him or her, on the path that we've started. You know, things that I think we did are going to be very difficult to undo, like to have one data system instead of 7, to have an app that you can apply for multiple services, you know, to have, you know, the redesign of the summer jobs program so that, you know, there was this, I'll tell you this one great story. I sent an email to Police Commissioner Shea when he announced his retirement, just to thank him, because and it's only been 2 years he was commissioner, when he first was announced and he presented at a cabinet meeting of commissioners, he talked about creating these youth coordination officers to connect young people to services, because he said, exact quote, he says, by connecting the services is how we fight crime. I have never heard a police commissioner talk about connecting young people to services. And so one of the things he did this summer was he doubled the number of young people who worked at the police department, but he also insisted every work unit in the police department, not just the precincts, but every unit in the police department hosted a young person. So Molly, our photographer, has this great photo, which will be in the annual report, of these young people in the mounted police unit. And Molly told me this story about this young woman who wanted to be a veterinarian, and then she was disappointed when she heard that she was getting assigned to the police department, because that didn't seem like it fit into her career path. And so the nonprofit, working with the police department staff, looked at her application. They said she wanted to be a veterinarian. So they placed her in the mounted police unit. And, so instead of being a paycheck, it really was a career building experience. And so I shared that with Commissioner Shea. That's what we need to do more of. And so it's my hope that, you will keep the next commissioner honest, and remind them of what this agency is about. But I want to thank all of you. And when I do have an exit date, I was told by Bill Thompson that unless I have somewhere to go in January, or I don't want to be subject to the 2-year ban on commissioners lobbying their former agencies, that I should stick around because they're not on schedule. And so it would be irresponsible to just retire and then have nobody in charge, because certainly Mayor Adams will have his plate full. So at least he doesn't have to worry about who's running DYCD until he names a replacement. So I'll be here until they figure out who they want. And so when I do have a date, I'll have Andre send out my contact information, my personal email, and my cell phone, so you can certainly stay in touch with me. I'm always glad to give my 2 cents, but like I said, I'll be retired, but not dead. Right, Nancy? Retired, but not dead.
That's right. You can still be on Zoom calls, Bill.
Oh, yeah.
Always. And Bill, Commissioner, we want to, like I said, we want to celebrate you in a couple of different ways. And the first one is you will be getting this shortly. It's a card, an electronic card from the entire board, just wishing you well. So we hope that you enjoy that. And if anyone didn't get a chance to sign it, Jordana still has it. So please reach out to her. And again, we're going to open it up to the entire board to just, if anyone wants to make comments, but, it has been an honor to serve under you for 8 years. There are so many things that you and the whole team has done, everyone, Anthony, Andre, all the people, your team. But I think in my mind, the baseline funding that you've secured for programs that won't go away, and also the cross, integrated services, I think are 2 really, really critical, impactful things that, are really going to make a difference for years to come. So thank you for that, Commissioner. And before I turn it over to everyone to speak, anyone who wants to, I know you have a little gift from us, a little commemorative that I'd love you to open. And if you could take it out and just read it to everyone, we'd appreciate it, because we're not in the same room, so we can't give it to you.
Andre did such a great job wrapping it. So it's going to take us to unwrap it now. So bear with me.
That's okay. We're happy to wait.
Okay, the box.
Excellent.
Oh, it's a nice plaque, which hopefully I won't break. It says, in appreciation of Commissioner Bill Chong for your, geez, I can't even read it because it's in glass, for your invaluable contributions to New York City, DYCD, and the people of New York City 2021, New York City Youth Board and Youth Committee. Thank you. It's something my wife could throw at me as well. So.
I know, be careful, it looks dangerous. But I'm going to now open it up to the rest of the group, please. Feel free to just say any words. I know that everyone feels strongly about the commissioner, so go ahead.
I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Well, Commissioner, first and foremost, thank you for all those years of commitment and wonderful services, and not only to you, but to your staff. I have been feeling very, very proud of being part of the board all these years since Giuliani appointed me to the board. The agency has grown tremendously, and he has been doing a wonderful, wonderful job, and that's thanks to your leadership and your commitment to the agency. So thank you and best wishes on your retirement. I don't think you're retiring anyway, but thank you.
So that's a good thing. So I can actually decide what I do to spend my day with.
I'm sure that you'll be receiving a lot of phone calls. Thank you. Thank you for your service.
Good afternoon, Commissioner Greg Hambrick. Good afternoon, everyone. So just want to say it was a pleasure working and serving with you. Developed a relationship, obviously, through my time here on the Youth Board, but also as the chair of the Community Action Board for DYCD. When I think about your leadership, I always like to hear the stories of the beginnings of individuals like yourself, and you always share the story of how you started in SYEP and your first job, and that resonated with me, and I'd like to think that's part of the reason why you got into community service, and I think you exemplified all of those qualities in your leadership role. So certainly wish you the best in your retirement. You've done a great and wonderful job as commissioner of this body of work, and I think your legacy will carry it further. So wish you all the best.
You know, this is the longest I've been at any job in my career. And I've been at DYCD actually, if I make it to January 13th, 16 years.
Wow.
So it's the longest I've been associated with any organization. And I mentioned this to Phil Thompson because Phil actually knows me when I was a young activist in the Asian American community. And for many years, I was the president and leadership of a group called Asian Americans for Equality. And, you know, my name was synonymous with AFI. And I said to Phil, I said, I actually have been with DYCD longer than I was with AFI. And he said, wow. So, and, you know, to be part of this organization for 16 of almost 25 years, I've seen it grow. I've seen the ups and the downs, and hopefully we're on a glide path to better times under the next administration.
Well, Commissioner, oh, sorry. Go ahead. Oh. All right, maybe I'll talk. Can you guys hear me? I might be having some
Yes.
internet problems. I just wanted to say thank you so much. It's been such an honor to be part of this committee and to have your leadership. And I'm always so proud of what the DYCD has accomplished. And I just know that New York is it's a very hard place, but it's also a very special place. And it's these types of services that make New York a really special city, and a city that takes care of its people. And I know cities all around the world. And I'm so proud of what New York does. And I'm so proud of what the DYC does, because it really does lift up everyone. And thank you so much for all that you've done. And it's really been truly an honor to work with you. So thank you.
You know, Bill, I'll just say, you know, when I was the head of United Neighborhood Houses for so many years, institutionally, I was always in the role of pushing the city and DYCD particularly to spend more money and to do more, and it was part of my role to say that you were never doing enough. But at no point during that period did I ever doubt for a second that you were as committed to these services as we were and the settlement houses were to serve kids and families. So we all play our institutional roles, and I think we both played them pretty well, because I think it was never a question that your heart was in the same place that ours was.
Yeah, I tell my staff that as I get closer to the end, my First Amendment rights come back to me. And, you know, I always believe that you need an inside and outside strategy. And, you know, one of the reasons we got the summer youth employment funding baseline was I had a meeting with David Jones from the Community Service Society, who I served on their board for 15 years. And he gave me a preview of their report on the summer youth employment program and, you know, some of the new models they were recommending, some of things which I agreed with and I wanted to do, the link with schools and things like that. But the one thing it was missing, and David understood this because he had worked in city government and he actually headed the youth
Youth Bureau. Yeah, I think, yeah.
Of DYCD. I said, half my budget is up in the air until June. How can you run a summer job program, much less redesign it so it meets the needs of young people without a stable budget? So David understood it immediately. His staff person hadn't put it in, so he insisted that it go in, and they published it in the spring of, I want to say 2016, all the years blurred together. And I remember it was Good Friday, you know, and I thought it was going to be a slow day. And the New York Times dropped an editorial criticizing the mayor and the city council for not having stable funding for a summer jobs program. Because how can you run a summer jobs program unless you know how much money you have to work with? That year, the money got baseline. And the rest is history. But so I recognize that there are things I can't do that people on the outside can do, and sometimes it's better that they can be more effective.
And don't forget ever that the United Neighborhood Houses, we bequeathed Anthony Ng to you.
Yes. Yes.
I didn't know that. Wow.
He went to the dark side. He went from the advocacy world to government.
Same side, Bill.
Just advocacy in a different form.
Bill, I'm gonna keep it real short, but wanted to thank you for all the years of service that you've provided DYCD, and of course I really do wish you the best in your next adventure, and also wanted to state that retirement's overrated. So so I think you need to. Maybe you'll stick around longer. Who knows? Hopefully you will. All right. Well, it was a pleasure.
Retirement means you don't have to read the New York Post.
Oh, I read the Post because they got interesting stuff in there. My staff will tell you I'm the DYCD news service. I'm up very early. I'll read everything from the New York Post to Chalkbeat to the Gothamist. Anthony can tell you. So they don't need to know what's happening in the world. I will send them everything that is relevant to the work we do.
I love it. Even my mom in Philadelphia gets the New York Post because she loves finding out what's going on. So it is a must read. But thank you everyone for your comments. I know that a lot of you shared online as well, the card that the commissioner will get. So just want to give just a minute if anybody else has anything that they'd like to say. Well, thank you, all of you. Commissioner, I know that they're having a hard time letting you go, so we'll see. We'll get the information from Anthony on the other side of the new year in terms of the details. But again, thank you for everything. All of us, I know, are looking forward to staying in touch. And to the whole team, you may or may not remember this because the Anthony had to refresh me, but we meet again in March. But I'm sure that there'll be communication long before then. So just know that we wish all of you a wonderful holiday season. And if there's anything that you need or any questions that you have, please feel free to reach out to me, Anthony, Andre, or Jordana. And just thank you for your commitment to the board, your continued commitment. Meeting is adjourned. Thanks all.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
Happy holidays. Bye.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Take care. Bye.